Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about the Star Force changes and how they will be fundamentally changing the way that gear progression works in MapleStory. And I want to go over what exactly is changing with the Star Force system. So if you don't know, in this upcoming winter patch, the entire Star Force system is getting a revamp. Now included in this revamp, they are going to be raising the max amount of stars you can obtain on a piece of gear from 25 stars at the max to 30 stars at the max. And in that revamp, it is going to basically raise the settle point from 22 stars to a much higher star level. And the impact that this Star Force revamp will have on the game cannot be understated. This is going to fundamentally change the way that gear progression works in the game. And not only are we getting the 30 star changes from KMS, we are actually going to be getting our own specific GMS heroic exclusive changes to the Star Force system as well. So first of all, I'm going to pull up this calculator here. I'll leave it linked in the description. And what this Star Force calculator does is it gives you the probabilities of reaching specific stars. So what you can do is you can put in your current stars and your target stars. And if you select the server as GMS, it'll give you all of the probabilities and current rates of the Star Force system in GMS right now. So for instance, a level 200 item that starts at 0 stars and wants to go to 22 stars, off event, the average cost will be 45 bill, the median cost will be 33 bill Mesa, and the average booms will be 2.54 and the median booms is 2. And that is the current GMS star forcing system that we have in the game right now. And if I raise the target stars to 23, you'll see that the average and the median booms skyrocket to 46 booms and 31 booms, and the average Mesa goes to over 650 bill Mesa. Now if I select KMS to go to 23 stars and then I hit calculate, you'll see the average and median cost drops dramatically all the way to 89 bill and 64 bill median. And the average booms drops all the way from over 50 booms to less than 10 booms. So now going for 23 stars and beyond is actually realistic in the game now, which is why these Star Force changes are so game changing. And a very common question that I see people ask is, should you wait to Star Force to 22 stars later, or should you just 22 star your items now before the update? So if you go ahead and put in your target stars to 22 in GMS, the average booms is about 2.3 to 2.4, and the median booms is 1. And after the update, if you select KMS and you select this 30% boom reduction, you can see that the average and median booms are very similar. So to be honest, there's really no point in waiting. You may as well just tap your current items to 22 stars if you get them. But one thing that you do have to keep in mind is that events are going to be changing going forward after the update. Because if you notice under KMS, you can select this new 30% boom reduction, and that is a brand new event that is going to be starting after the 30 star changes. And what this event basically does to the game is that you basically have to wait for an event to tap your items. You basically can never tap high value items off event anymore because of this. And I kind of liked it before, how if you wanted to tap off event that you could, but it's just more expensive in Mesa. But now you are basically forced to wait because you have a much higher boom chance. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that you're basically forced to wait for an event now. There's basically almost no reason to tap off event after the 30 star changes. And just another side change that KMS also got, if you do have a 23 star item, it will be going to 25 stars after the update. At least that's how it was in KMS. We currently are not sure if that specific change is coming to GMS or not. And to be honest, if you want more guaranteed gains, I would just honestly hold off on tapping anything above 22 stars. But if you are currently tapping anything above 22 stars, then you probably already know what you're doing and you don't even need this video. But yeah, like I said, I will leave this link in the video description, and you guys can mess around with all of the current math to get to specific stars in GMS versus KMS. And also just note that we may not get the KMS changes exactly how they were in KMS, because other servers actually got the numbers tweaked a little bit, but this will at least give you a general idea on what is changing. But yeah, the next changes I want to go over are actually the heroic exclusive changes coming to GMS, and no other server has gotten these changes, so I kind of want to just speculate and go over everything. So if I pull up the inkwell note here, you'll see that they are going to add additional ways to acquire equipment and restore destroyed equipment. And yeah, it basically says here that they acknowledge how hard it is to get high level equipment in GMS, specifically in the heroic servers. And it says when they plan to bring over the 30 star feature, they plan to prepare various restoration methods and spare equipment equipment acquisition routes that align with the time and effort that players have invested. And they list out exactly what our server will be getting exclusively. Now, a system that allows players to collect fragments of high-level equipment and exchange them for a completed piece of equipment. Now, many people, including myself, are reading this as a pitched pity system, and that means if you kill a boss, it'll drop a fragment, and if you get enough of these fragments, you can trade it in for a completed piece of pitched boss gear. And we aren't sure if you can choose what piece you want or if it'll be random, and we don't know the specific details, but this will change how you get spares of high-level equipment in the game. And honestly, just this plus the 30-star changes is already very game-changing, but they are going steps above at changing even more stuff, including a system to restore destroyed equipment via a quest. Now, this is very vague language that they use, so we aren't really sure the specifics as well, but I am assuming that if you have a trace in your inventory, there's going to be some kind of quest, and I assume it'll be time gated as well, so you can only do it every so often. And after you do the quest, it'll let you restore that piece of destroyed equipment, and this will be very important, like for things like Pitched Boss. And we also aren't sure if it'll work on legacy traces, so that means traces that were obtained before this system was added. But if I were you, I would leave your traces in your inventory and do not throw them away until we know exactly what this system is going to be, because if it lets you restore previously destroyed equipment that was obtained before this update, then many endgame players already have a bunch of traces already laying around in their inventory for a bunch of pitched boss pieces that they don't have 22 starred already, and this system will let us restore those pieces of gear, allowing us to kind of skip the pitch pity system entirely because we already have these pieces in our inventory boomed already. So yeah, definitely do not throw out your traces until we learn more about the system. At least keep one of each piece. At least that's what I'm doing, and that's my opinion on the system. And the next heroic exclusive change that they're going to be doing is they're going to be adding an item dedicated to restoring destroyed equipment traces during the Starforce enhancement process. And we actually got more information about this in our latest patch notes, and it's right under the Starforce UI changes, and it reads, before enhancing an item, the Starforce UI now shows more detailed information. Destroy means the item could break but can now be recovered if you have enough equipment traces. And then a new thing called Annihilate means there are no spare equipment traces left, so if the item breaks, it cannot be recovered. And this is also pretty vague. We don't have any more details than this, unfortunately. But it is interesting that there's going to be two terms now, destroy and annihilate. And if it gets destroyed, then it can be recovered if you have enough additional equipment traces. So yeah, seeing that as well, I would definitely hold on to all of your traces, because it says if you have enough equipment traces, which to me sounds like that you're going to need multiple traces in your inventory to restore the item. So yeah, until we know more, I would definitely just hold on to your traces. And then the last thing that they are going to be doing is they are going to be reducing the penalty for destroyed items during the Starforce enhancement process. And to me, this reads like that when you boom an item, it is no longer going to drop all the way down to 12 stars. And to me, it kind of reads like it is going to drop down to a checkpoint, to a certain checkpoint. So my theory is that they are going to be having 5-star checkpoints. So 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25-star checkpoints. And if you boom an item, it'll go down to the previous checkpoint, because we kind of already have this checkpoint system in the game as it is, because an item cannot go below 15 stars and an item can't go below 20 stars once it reaches that point. So I think it only makes sense that if they are going to be reducing the penalty, that's the way it will work. But we actually don't know the details. That's just my opinion on how I think it should work. But either way, it is very good that they are going to be reducing the penalty on destroyed items, because nobody likes going from 21 or 22 stars all the way back down to 12 stars to repeat the entire process again. And yeah, like I said, these changes plus the new 30-star changes are going to fundamentally change the game as we know it. And the way the Starforce system has previously worked the last 7 years will be completely changing. So if you are just coming back to the game after this upcoming winter update, just know that the methods at getting spares and getting high stars on equipment now will be completely changing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments on what you think about the brand new 30-star changes, as well as all of the brand new GMS exclusive changes. And yeah, I literally read every single comment because I'm always very curious to see what everyone thinks about these upcoming changes. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more MapleStory videos coming soon, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace!